What if you could run Claude, the same AI everyone's talking about, inside your company's own AWS account, with your own security on your own bill? I'm Jennifer, and this is the Complete Beginner's Guide to Claude on Amazon Bedrock. Let's get into it. Here's a conversation happening in thousands of companies right now. The team wants to build with Claude, but security says, we're not signing up for a new AI vendor. Every new vendor means reviews, contracts, and risk. Finance says, we don't want another bill to track. And IT says, we already manage everything through AWS, our accounts, our permissions, our monitoring. Why would we start over somewhere else? If any of that sounds like your company, this video is for you. Because there's a way to get Claude with none of those objections. And by the end of this guide, you'll know exactly how to use it, what it costs, and where the sharp edges are. Here's the plan for this guide. First, what Bedrock actually is, plus a 2-minute primer on models and tokens, so the rest of the video makes sense even if you're brand new to AI. Second, the Claude lineup, which model to pick for which job, and what each one actually costs. Third, we go hands-on. I'll show you how to enable Claude, run your first chat, write your first code, and connect Claude to your own company documents. And fourth, the grown-up stuff, security, guardrails, agents, and keeping the bill under control. Stick around to the end, because I'll also cover the beginner mistakes that cost people real money. So here's the answer. Amazon Bedrock is an AWS service that gives you the top AI models, including Claude, through the AWS account your company already has. Think of it this way. Your company already stores files in S3 and runs code in Lambda. Bedrock sits right next to those in the console. Same login, same bill, same permission system. No new vendor for security to review, no new invoice for finance to chase. And this is not some niche experiment. Over 100,000 organizations already build on Bedrock, from small startups to heavily regulated banks. It is, quite simply, how companies that live on AWS do AI. And using it is genuinely simple, because Bedrock is what's called serverless. That's a fancy word for AWS runs all the machinery, and you just use it. There's no AI infrastructure to build, no graphics cards to rent, no software to keep updated. 3 steps. That's the whole thing. Step 1. Sign into your normal AWS account. Step 2. Flip the one-time switch that turns on Claude. It's called Model Access, and I'll show it to you on screen in a few minutes. Step 3. Start asking questions, either by chatting right there in the console or by calling Claude from your own code. You never install anything. You never maintain anything. It scales up automatically when you're busy and costs nothing when you're not using it. Quick primer before we go shopping for models. 2 minutes and it'll make everything else click. When people say model, they mean the AI brain itself. Software trained on enormous amounts of text until it can read, write, reason, and code. The word foundation just means general purpose. The same model that drafts your email can also analyze a spreadsheet or write code, so you don't need to build a separate tool for every task. And Claude isn't one single brain. It's a family of them. Same intelligence, different sizes. The bigger ones are smarter but slower and pricier. The smaller ones are lightning fast and cheap. Picking the right size for the job is half the skill, and I'll make that easy in a minute. Second half of the primer. Tokens, because that's the unit on the bill. A token is just a chunk of text, roughly 3/4 of a word. The phrase Bedrock is simple is about 5 tokens. Every request has 2 sides: the input, what you send in, including any documents, and the output, what Claude writes back. They're metered separately, and output tokens cost more, because that's where the model does its work. For scale, 1 million tokens is around 750,000 words. Think several long novels. A typical everyday request, like summarizing a page or drafting an email, is a few hundred to a few thousand tokens. Keep that scale in mind, and the pricing table coming up will feel very approachable. Now let's meet the family. This is the Claude lineup on Bedrock as of this recording. 4 tiers. Claude Haiku 4.5, the sprinter. Claude Sonnet 5, the workhorse, and the most popular choice. The Opus models, the heavyweights. And Claude Fable 5, the newest generation, at the frontier of what these systems can do. There's also an invitation-only preview of a model called Mythos for select customers, but for most of us, these 4 are the menu. Let me give you 30 seconds on each, because the differences really matter for your wallet. First, Haiku 4.5, the sprinter. It's built for speed and volume. Answers come back almost instantly, which matters when a customer is literally watching a chat window. It's perfect for support replies, sorting and tagging tickets, routing requests to the right team, and quick summaries, the kind of work you do thousands of times an hour. And it's the cheapest seat in the house at roughly $1 per million input tokens. If the task is small and there are a lot of them, Haiku. Second, Sonnet 5, the workhorse. And if you remember one model name from this video, make it this one. It sits in the sweet spot, top-tier intelligence at a mid-range price. It handles real everyday work, reports, analysis, customer emails, reading through long documents, and genuinely solid coding help. It also takes in huge amounts of context, hundreds of pages in a single request with an even bigger 1 million token option in preview. Most teams start on Sonnet and honestly never need to leave. Third, the heavyweights, Opus 4.8 and Opus 5. This is maximum reasoning depth for problems where being right matters far more than being fast or cheap. Think complex code refactors, tricky debugging, dense legal or financial documents, or synthesizing a pile of research into a real answer. One practical note, Opus 4.8 is open to everyone, but the very newest Opus 5 has some access criteria. AWS may ask about your use case before enabling it. For most teams, that's a quick form, not a roadblock. And fourth, Claude Fable 5, the new frontier. This is Anthropic's newest generation, a step beyond even Opus, built for long, complex, multi-step work, the kind of extended agent-style projects where the AI works through a problem over many steps and checks its own output along the way. It's open to everyone on Bedrock, no invitation needed. It's also priced like a frontier model, so aim it at your biggest problems, not your everyday email drafts. So let's make the choice dead simple. Lots of small, quick jobs? Haiku. Not sure where to start? Sonnet 5. That's the safe default, and for most teams, the final answer too. Genuinely hard problems where quality is everything? Opus, or Fable 5 for the truly ambitious stuff. And here's the best part. Switching models later is literally one line of code. Try one, measure, switch. You are never locked in. Now the strategic question. Why go through Bedrock instead of just signing up with Anthropic directly? Anthropic's own API is excellent, so this is genuinely about fit. 3 reasons companies choose Bedrock, and notice they're exactly the 3 objections from the start of this video. 1. Billing. Claude usage lands on the AWS invoice your company already pays. 2. Security. Access is controlled through IAM, AWS's permission system, meaning the exact same roles and rules your IT team already manages for everything else. Your developers don't handle a new API key that could leak. Permissions follow them automatically. 3. Data location. Bedrock offers regional processing options that keep your traffic inside a chosen geography. And if you work in finance, healthcare, or government, your compliance team just sat up straight. Before anyone lets you roll this out, 3 privacy questions will come up. So let's answer them now. First, is our data used to train the AI? No. What you send through Bedrock is not used to train the models. Your prompts and documents stay your prompts and documents. Second, can anyone at AWS read what we send? The inference infrastructure is AWS managed and designed for zero operator access. Nobody's sitting there reading prompts. Third, who inside our own company can use it? Exactly who you allow. Because access runs through IAM, you can scope Bedrock to specific teams, roles, or projects. The intern doesn't get Opus 5 on the company card unless you say so. One more piece of the "where does my data go" story. Endpoints. By default, Bedrock uses a global endpoint. Your requests route dynamically across regions for the best availability, at no extra cost. If compliance requires it, you can instead pin processing to a region or geography. There are profiles for the US, Europe, Japan, and Australia, and that guarantee costs about 10% extra. My advice for beginners? Start global. Only switch to regional pinning if your compliance team actually requires it. There's no reason to pay 10% for a guarantee nobody asked for. Now, the honest part. Because no platform is perfect, and you should hear the trade-offs from me rather than discover them later. First, a few developer conveniences from Anthropic's own API aren't on Bedrock today. Things like structured outputs, file uploads, and batch processing. If your project depends on one of those, check the current feature list before committing. Second, as we just covered, regional pinning costs about 10% over the global default. And third, like every AWS service, Bedrock has usage quotas. The defaults are generous, millions of tokens per minute, and you can request increases. But if you're planning something huge, that's a conversation to have before launch day, not during it. None of these are deal breakers for most teams. They're just the fine print, read out loud. Let's talk money. There is no subscription. You pay only for the tokens you use. Here are Anthropic's reference prices per million tokens. Bedrock's exact numbers are set by AWS and closely track these. Haiku, about $1 per million tokens in, 5 out. Sonnet 5, 2 in, 10 out. Opus 5, 5 and 25. Fable 5, 10 and 50. Notice the 10x spread between Haiku and Fable. That's why picking the right model per task matters. And if you're brand new to AWS, they currently give new customers up to $200 in credits, which, as you're about to see, is a lot of experimenting. Let's make that concrete, because token prices are abstract until you run the math. Say you build a support assistant that answers 1,000 customer questions a day on Sonnet 5. Each question, including the policy documents you feed in as context, runs about 1,500 input tokens and 300 output tokens. 1,000 of those a day is roughly 1.5 million input tokens and 300,000 output tokens. On Sonnet 5's pricing, that's about $3 plus $3. Call it $6 a day. Run the same workload on Haiku, and it's about $3 a day. That's the honest scale here. Real production workloads often cost dollars a day, not thousands a month. The scary AI bill usually comes from mistakes, and I'll show you how to avoid those at the end. Enough theory. Let's do this for real. What you're seeing is a mock-up of the console, but it's exactly what you'll find. You sign into AWS, type Bedrock in the search bar, and open a page called Model Access. That's the one-time step almost everyone misses on their first try. Here's the catalog of AI providers, and there's Anthropic with the Claude models listed. Notice they show as available to request. Claude isn't switched on by default. So we tick the Claude models we want: Fable, Sonnet, Opus, Haiku, and click Request Model Access. And moments later, done. The status flips to Access Granted with the green check. And for most Claude models, that's genuinely instant. The very newest ones may ask a couple of quick questions about your use case first. A form, not an interview. Here's what matters. This is a one-time setup for your whole AWS account. From this moment, every developer on your team can use Claude, governed by the IAM permissions your admins already control. You will never do this step again. Quick pause before we actually talk to Claude. If this guide is useful so far, take 1 second to hit like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. It genuinely helps the channel more than you'd think. Okay, let's have our first conversation. Before writing any code, you can talk to Claude right in the console. This area is called the Chat Playground. You pick a model at the top. We'll take Sonnet 5. Type a prompt like you would in any chat app and hit Run. Here's a genuinely useful first test. I've pasted our messy internal returns policy and asked Claude to turn it into a short, friendly email for a customer who bought a jacket 3 weeks ago. Look at the answer. It caught that 3 weeks means store credit rather than a card refund, and worked that into a warm, natural reply. This is the fastest way to find out whether Claude handles your task well. Test it here before a developer writes a single line of code. And when you're ready to build for real, here's the entire program. Not a snippet, the whole thing. You import Anthropic's library, point the client at your AWS region, name the model you want, and send your message. Now notice what's not in this code: an API key. There's no secret pasted into the file that could leak into a code repository. Authentication happens automatically through AWS credentials, which is exactly how your security team wants it. Run it, and Claude's answer prints right in the terminal. From these 10 lines, you can grow anything: a support bot, a document pipeline, an internal tool. Quick recap, because you now know how to do 3 real things. You can enable Claude, a one-time switch controlled by your company's existing permissions. You can test any idea in the playground in minutes, and I really do recommend testing your actual task there before anyone builds anything. And you can go to code with a 10-line Python file that contains no secrets at all. That's the foundation. Now, let's make Claude smarter about your business. Here's the feature that turns Claude from a smart generalist into your company's expert: knowledge bases. The idea is simple. You point Bedrock at your documents, product manuals, internal policies, your wiki, years of support tickets, and it indexes them automatically. From then on, when someone asks a question, Claude finds the relevant passages and answers from your material, citing where each answer came from. And the data stays in your AWS account under your controls, not used for training, not going anywhere. Let me show you how easy the setup is. Here's the setup screen. You give the knowledge base a name, ours is Acme Support Docs, and point it at the S3 bucket where your documents already live. This one holds 214 files of returns policies, shipping FAQs, warranty terms, and product care guides. Bedrock walks through them and indexes everything automatically. You can see the status flipping to indexed file by file. No database engineering, no manual tagging. If your documents are already in AWS, you are genuinely 15 minutes from this. And now, the payoff. I ask a real support question. A customer dropped their blender after 11 months. Is that covered under warranty? Watch what Claude does. It answers from our warranty terms. Accidental damage is not covered. The 12-month warranty is for manufacturing defects only, but the customer qualifies for the discounted replacement program. And look at the bottom. Sources. Page 3, Section 2.1. Page 7, Section 5.4. Every claim traceable to the exact paragraph in your own documents. That's the difference between an AI that sounds right and an AI your team can actually rely on. Second power feature, Guardrails. The moment you put AI in front of customers, you need rules. Topics it should never touch. Words it should never use. Personal information it should mask. With Guardrails, you write that policy once, and Bedrock enforces it on every single response automatically. AWS reports it can block up to 88% of harmful content and catch many hallucinations before a user ever sees them. And it's one policy for your whole account. Every model, every app, same rules. Compliance teams love this feature for a reason. And third, agents, where Claude goes from answering to actually doing. Through Bedrock's agent tooling, called Agent Core, you connect Claude to your real systems, a database, an internal API, your order platform. Then, a request like, handle this refund, becomes a plan. Find the order, check the refund policy, draft the customer reply. Several steps executed in sequence. This is where Fable 5's long-running abilities shine, by the way. And because it all runs inside AWS, every single action an agent takes is governed by the same permissions as everything else in your cloud. No rogue robot problem. It can only touch what you've allowed. Fair question. Does this hold up at serious scale? Here's one public example. Robinhood, the trading platform, runs around 5 billion tokens a day through Bedrock. 5 billion a day. And while scaling to that, they cut their AI costs by 80%. Two of the tools behind that number are available to you on day one. Prompt caching. When you send the same context repeatedly, like that returns policy in front of every support question, it gets cached, and you stop paying full price for the same tokens over and over. And intelligent routing. Bedrock can automatically send easy requests to cheaper models and save the expensive ones for hard questions. At volume, those two features are the difference between a scary bill and a boring one. Boring is good. One recent story worth knowing because it tells you something about how this ecosystem operates. Claude Fable 5 launched on Bedrock in early June, the most capable model Anthropic had ever made generally available. And then, mid-June, Anthropic did something unusual. They temporarily pulled it back to strengthen its safeguards. On July 1st, it returned, with stronger guardrails and new safety classifiers, open to everyone again. Now, you could read that as a stumble. I read it the opposite way. When the most capable model on the platform needed better protections, they took it offline and fixed it. If your company is going to bet real workloads on this technology, that's exactly the behavior you want from the people running it. Let me show you what teams actually build, because patterns help. Pattern 1, customer support that scales. You combine a knowledge base of your policies with a fast model like Haiku, and you get accurate first-line answers in seconds, around the clock. The smart teams keep humans in the loop. Claude drafts the reply, a support agent approves it, so quality stays high while response times collapse. And remember our pricing math. 1,000 assisted answers a day lands in single-digit dollars. Pattern 2. Document work that used to eat days. Summarize a 200-page contract. Extract every date, amount, and obligation into a table. Compare two versions of a filing and list what changed. Or ask a question across a pile of files. which of these 50 contracts auto-renew before March, and get an answer with citations. This is where Sonnet 5's giant context window earns its keep. Hundreds of pages in one request means less chopping documents up and more just asking questions. Pattern 3. A coding partner for your development team. Claude reads your code and explains it, spots bugs, writes tests, and drafts refactors, with Opus and Fable at the top of their game here. Teams increasingly hand the routine toil to agents. Dependency updates, log triage, boilerplate, and the reason engineering leaders pick Bedrock for this specifically, the code never leaves your cloud's security boundary. For a lot of companies, that single sentence is the whole decision. Before the final checklist, 4 habits that keep the bill boring. 1. Right-size the model per task. We've covered this, and it's worth repeating because it's the single biggest lever. 2. Turn on prompt caching early. Any context you send repeatedly should be cached, not rebuild at full price. 3. And this is the one beginners skip. Set an AWS billing alarm on day 1. A budget alert at $25 will tell you about a runaway loop long before the invoice does. And 4, which deserves its own slide. Know the classic beginner mistakes. Let's do those now. The 3 classic beginner mistakes, all completely avoidable now that you know them. Mistake 1, the wrong region. You enable Claude in one AWS region, then your code calls a different region, and you get a confusing model not found error. Check the region name in the top corner of the console matches the one in your code. Mistake 2, forgetting model access entirely, the #1 first-day error. If Bedrock acts like Claude doesn't exist, go check model access before you debug anything else. And mistake 3, testing with an expensive model inside a retry loop. A buggy loop hammering Fable 5 overnight is how $5 experiments become $500 surprises. That billing alarm from the last slide? That's your safety net. Set it first. One quick note for the road, so the growth path is clear. Everything in this video uses on-demand pricing, pay per token, scale automatically. And that's the right choice from your first test all the way to serious daily traffic. If you ever reach massive steady volume, Bedrock offers provisioned throughput, reserved, dedicated capacity at committed rates. Think of it as moving from taxi rides to leasing the car. And in between, cross-region inference smooths out traffic spikes automatically, so a launch day surge doesn't slam into a limit. You don't need any of this on day 1. Just know the road doesn't dead end. And one more thing. Because viewers of my last video will be wondering, how does Bedrock relate to Claude Cowork? Simple. Bedrock is for building Claude into things. Apps, support bots, document pipelines, Claude as a component inside your company's systems. Cowork is Claude working with you on your own computer, organizing folders, building reports, doing your tasks. They're not competitors, they're different jobs. A lot of people genuinely want both. Cowork for your personal workflow starting today, and Bedrock when your company is ready to build at scale. If you haven't seen the Cowork guide yet, it's linked at the end of this video. So here's your move. 15 minutes, 4 steps. 1. Open the AWS console and search for Bedrock. 2. Enable the Claude models under Model Access, the one-time switch. 3. Take a real task from your actual work, not a toy example, and test it in the playground. If Claude handles it well there, it'll handle it well in code. And 4. Set that billing alarm, then hand the Python snippet to a developer. If you're new to AWS, the $200 new customer credit means you can do all of this and weeks of experimenting after without spending a cent of your own. Let's land this. Amazon Bedrock is Claude inside the cloud your company already trusts. Same account, same bill, same security controls, and answers to every question your boss will ask about privacy. You pick the model tier that fits each job. Haiku for volume, Sonnet 5 as your default, Opus and Fable 5 for the heavy lifting, and switch anytime with one line of code. And you can grow at your own pace. Chat in the playground today, ship your first API call tomorrow, and layer in your company's knowledge, guardrails, and agents when you're ready. The 15-minute version of this is waiting for you in the AWS console right now. I'm Jennifer, and I make videos that explain AI tools simply. If this guide helped you, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And if you're curious what Claude can do on your own computer, organizing folders, building reports, doing the work, not just talking about it, my beginner's guide to Claude Cowork is right here on screen. See you in the next one.